What if there was a way to learn anything fast, create things the world finds valuable, and increase levels of happiness at the same time? What if I told you that thing exists, it's practically free to start, and it's available for anyone to try? What's up everyone, my name is Zach Rollins, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how writing's changed my life, how it can change your life, and 5 actionable steps you can take to start your writing habit today. But first, let's clear up some misconceptions about writing. When you hear the term writing, you may be thinking of all your boring English classes, research papers you had to write, or emails that you had to take care of at work. The truth is, writing is the modern day creator's most powerful tool for building a business. Productivity YouTuber and New York Times bestselling author Ali Abdaal has credited writing as the single skill that made him a millionaire. In his video titled, How Writing Made Me a Millionaire, it's a little on the nose, Ali describes how starting a blog and writing about being a medical student and part-time YouTuber led to him making millions of dollars over the years. The habit of writing helped him build an audience, grow his YouTube channel, and write Feel Good Productivity, a book that's officially cemented him as an expert in the field. His only regret? Not starting sooner. So what is it about writing that's so beneficial? At its core, writing is thinking. And being able to write clearly means being able to think clearly. In the book Hidden Potential, Adam Grant explains that we learn things faster by writing about them. It's due to something called the protege effect, where essentially just by explaining something to somebody else, we understand it better ourselves. Writing gives us that tool to articulate ideas to other people, helping us learn it faster ourselves. Writing also happens to be useful for making money. Solopreneurs and digital writers such as Dan Koe, Nicholas Cole, Justin Welsh, have all credited writing as the single skill that's unlocked millions of dollars in earnings for them. By writing and sharing their ideas online, they were able to attract audiences and build libraries of content over time. They then went on to build multi-million-dollar businesses off the backbone of that content, creating products such as courses. And it's not all about money either. Writing has been shown to increase levels of happiness and reduce anxiety. Studies have shown that the simple act of journaling can lead to a whole host of positive benefits when done regularly. Still not sold? Neither was I. 7 months ago, I wanted to start creating YouTube videos, but I didn't really know where to start. I didn't know how to write a script, edit videos, come up with ideas, speak into a camera, design thumbnails, and all the other stuff needed to make great videos. Then, one day, I came across a podcast where Ali Abdaal was speaking with Nicholas Cole, author of The Art and Business of Online Writing. The passion and energy during this podcast was pretty palpable. During this podcast, it clicked that writing is the fundamental skill behind every piece of content imaginable. Writing transfers ideas from the mind onto paper, bringing it from just an idea in your head into reality. All of content creation starts with ideas, and the ideas that get written down get created. So here were these 2 highly successful digital creators talking about how writing was the single skill that made them millionaires. And it got me thinking, if they can do it, why can't I? So in an effort to lower the bar to start creating content, I decided to start writing. I had 0 experience and hadn't written anything since college. And frankly, I didn't really have a passion for writing. I wasn't really sure if I could do it, but I knew I had to start somewhere and I decided to give it a shot. In these last 7 months, I've written over 150,000 words of content. I've posted multiple articles across Medium and Twitter and my own personal newsletter. And I've created a daily writing habit that hasn't skipped a beat since I've started. And we're talking 7 months of writing every single day. I have not missed a day. Those 7 months of writing have allowed me to build up the skill set and confidence to create content daily, generate infinite ideas, understand value propositions, and gain clarity in my goals with a tool to take action towards them. All that writing experience has finally allowed me to feel like I'm ready to tackle YouTube script writing and video creation. And it all started with a deceptively simple step to get the ball in motion. So let's dive into 5 actionable steps you can take today so you can start building your creative future. Number 1, build an idea bank. The first obstacle every new writer faces is figuring out what to write about. It's so common it even has a name, writer's block. But writer's block doesn't have to be such a headache. A simple trick to overcome the blank page is to start with an idea you've already been thinking about. And that's why the first step to building a writing habit isn't to write, it's to start cataloging ideas as they come across in your head throughout the day. By jotting down ideas throughout the day, we can build an idea bank to draw from when it's time to sit down and write. Most people think they don't have ideas. What's really going on is they're just forgetting their ideas. At the start of the 20th century, German psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus developed the forgetting curve. Ebbinghaus found that people forget about 60% of the information they process within the first 20 minutes of learning about it. That's why when you have that genius idea while you're taking a shower, you can't seem to remember it an hour later when you're having a conversation with friends. We've all had this experience before. Sometimes I'll be walking my dog and a random question will pop in my head like, where do ideas come from? And if I don't write that question down, I almost always forget about it. To counteract the forgetting curve, I'll make a note of that idea so I can come back to it later. Cataloging ideas, questions, topics gives me a good starting point for when I sit down to write. That way, when I go to approach writing, I'm never staring at a blank page. I have notes and ideas ready to explore already. And the cool thing is, you don't even need a fancy app for this. I usually just use a notepad if I have it on hand, or Apple Notes most of the time. Number 2, start by journaling. I used to think of journaling as a way to secretly gossip about all the mishaps in my life. Movies where teenage girls start the page with "Dear Diary" had brainwashed me into thinking that journaling was a massive waste of time. I couldn't have been more wrong. Journaling has helped me develop my writing skills, develop creative new takes on ideas, and given me clarity on my goals. By writing about ideas in a low-stakes, unstructured way, I can explore what I really think about an idea or topic without any filters. This also relieves me from the pressure of feeling like I have to have good writing. Journaling gives me the freedom to just think and write. And I know what you're thinking right now. Great. Everyone knows journaling is good for you, but how do you actually do it? Most of the time I journal for 3 reasons: clarity, action, and thoughts. Let's call it the CAT framework for journaling. And since we're talking about writing today, why don't you grab a pen and paper and write down some of these journaling prompts so that you can use them on your own. Clarity. When I'm journaling for clarity, I'm asking myself what and why questions. And that's to help me gain clarity on my goals, aspirations, and the motivations behind my actions. One of my favorite prompts is, what would my ideal day look like and why doesn't it look like that currently? This prompt is great because it does 2 things. 1, it forces me to confront the gap between my current life and the life I want to be living. 2, it gives me clarity on what I could be doing right now to live an ideal day. My ideal day would be something like walking the dog, having a little bit of coffee while I do some writing, maybe work on a creative project like a video for a couple hours, go for a run, lift some weights, get a little exercise in, maybe meet with some friends for lunch after that, maybe play a little bit of music afterwards, play some guitar. Then I would want to spend some quality time with my wife, and then maybe after that I would just want to cook a dinner, play some video games, or read a book to wind down for the night. Sounds like a pretty nice day, right? I kind of want that day right now. This journaling prompt made me realize that the only thing preventing me from living my ideal day 100% of the time is my current job and my ability to manage my time. But it also made me realize I don't need extravagant amounts of money to be happy. It showed me that I already have most of what I desire. Action. Once you clarify what you want and why, you can ask yourself some questions to figure out how to achieve those goals. Here's another prompt I like. What are 3 things I can do this week to help me reach my goals, and what's 1 thing I can do today? My personal goal is to build a creator business so I can live more of my ideal days while also helping others do the same. To achieve that, the 3 things I can do this week are write my newsletter to nurture my audience, create a YouTube video to reach a new audience, and study successful creators to see how they did it. So those are 3 things I can do this week to reach my goals. And 1 thing I can do today is start by writing the newsletter. This journaling prompt helps us get out of planning mode and into action mode. So now we know what we want and why, and how to create action steps to help us reach our goals. But let's have some fun and mess around with some ideas for a minute. Journaling about thoughts is where I get the creative juices flowing and make new connections. What I'll do is pull a note from my idea bank or a question I might have and journal about it freely. This works even better if you don't look up the answers to your question right away. The problem with looking things up first is your opinion becomes shaped by others. This means your own weird insight can get lost after you read what other people think. Journaling about random ideas before looking up the answers had led to some of my more interesting insights, such as all goals can be turned into a game, or creativity can't exist without constraints. Those 2 insights have led to me writing thousands of words and multiple articles exploring the ideas further. So try out this exercise. Write down a topic to explore at the top of the page. Ask yourself, what do I think about it? Where do I see it in the world? How can I apply it to my own life? And how could this help somebody else? Asking these questions will inevitably lead to ideas to explore for content later. Step 3. Make it obvious and easy. One of the biggest hurdles in building a new habit is consistency. A staggering 88% of people fail to keep up with their New Year's resolution just 2 weeks into the new year. It's pretty pathetic. That's because when our motivation is high, we often try to take on too much too fast, and then we fail at the first sign of resistance. Life piles on fast, responsibilities come in, and we get overwhelmed and just drop the ball for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Next thing you know, we're not doing it ever again. A better and more sustainable way to start a new habit is to make it as easy as possible to start. Instead of dedicating 10 hours a week to writing content straight out of the gate, it's much better to start off with a 15 to 30 minute journaling habit. If you feel overwhelmed by the idea of writing for 30 minutes a day, then just start smaller. 5 minutes a day of journaling is still more than 0 minutes. What will usually happen is 5 minutes will go by and you'll probably feel like writing more. But if you don't feel like writing more after 5 minutes, then feel free to stop. The real habit we're building here is just showing up to do the thing consistently. It doesn't matter if it's for 5 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours. It just matters that you show up every day and work on that thing little by little. This builds proof that you're the type of person that sticks with their habits consistently. The second part of this formula is to make it obvious. This means making it natural to gravitate towards writing. For instance, I'll write down a journal prompt or a question in my journal before getting into bed, and then I'll leave it out by the coffee machine, so that when I wake up and I go to brew my coffee, it's right there in front of me, and I don't even have to think about what to write about, I just have to write. Find ways to reduce friction to writing as much as possible so that you can remain consistent with your new habit. Step 4, habit stacking and rewards. In his book Atomic Habits, James Clear lays out that one of the best ways to build a new habit is a technique called habit stacking. This is where you pair your new habit with an existing one. For instance, I drink coffee every morning. So when I want to start a new writing habit, I paired it with my coffee routine. Now, while my coffee's brewing, I'll journal and plan out my day. Once the coffee's ready, I'll sit down with that fresh cup and I'll start my longer writing blocks. This has cued my brain to think about writing or start writing anytime I have a sip of coffee now. The second part is the reward system. We're more likely to stick to our habits if there's a reward system built into it. Lately, I've been indulging myself with a bit of nostalgic leisure playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII was literally my favorite game growing up, so playing the new one has been a dream come true. The problem is it's very tempting to play instead of write. To counteract this pull to play video games, I use the game itself as a reward. I set a clear rule for myself. No playing video games until I'm done writing and exercising. This keeps me motivated to get my commitments done as fast as possible so that I can enjoy a little bit of sweet nostalgia before I have to go to work. Step number 5, plan your sorcerer's hour. At some point, you'll need to do more than journal to reach your creative goals. Once you've built an idea bank, started a small daily journaling practice, you've made it obvious and easy to get started, and you've built in reward systems to cue you to do those things, then you're ready to take your writing habit to the next level. I call this the Sorcerer's Hour. It's 1 hour dedicated to making the magic happen. This is where you dedicate 1 hour a few times a week to get some of the longer writing projects you might have in mind finished. This would be stuff like articles, social media content, video scripts, anything that requires a little more time and thought and content that you would share with the world. I hear from every single person that I bring this up with, but Zach, I don't have time. And the harsh truth here is nobody has time. It's all trade-offs. You are spending 1 hour doing something else. And if you want to reach your creative goals, you're going to have to take that 1 hour you're spending doing that other thing and spend it doing something that'll help you reach your goals, like writing. That might mean spending less time watching TV, consuming social media, or going out late. It could also mean you just start waking up earlier. That was the trade-off I made a few years ago. I started waking up at 6 a.m. every day so I'd have some extra time to work on creative projects. That extra time in the morning has allowed me to start working towards my goal before the rest of the world wakes up with all their distractions. The most important part about the Sorcerer's Hour is you have to schedule it. If you don't write it down and make it a sacred hour, you're not going to stick with it. Every morning when I have that sip of coffee and I plan out my day, I write down exactly when I'm going to make the magic happen. This works for developing your new journaling habit too. Plot out the exact time you're going to sit down and write, set up a notification, and you'll never miss a day. And don't underestimate the power of a couple focused sorcerer's hours. I wrote the first draft of this video script in 2 hours exactly. I started by creating an outline the night before. I woke up and journaled about some of the ideas while I brewed my coffee. And then I sat down with that first sip of roasty goodness and started writing. Now, I think it's time to treat myself to some Final Fantasy. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'm new here, so I appreciate all the new subs.